Saying goodbye to beloved TV characters is hard enough. Saying goodbye to beloved actors is even harder. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 actors who died during their TV shows.
I really loved how he made me laugh.
For this list, we'll be looking at the actors who tragically passed away while their TV shows were still running. Their co-workers not only mourned their loss, but also had to get back to shooting the show without them. That means making the character disappear, killing them off, replacing the actor, or in some unfortunate cases, canceling the series altogether. Since this list will be talking about many TV deaths, a spoiler alert is in order.
I need your help!
What is it now, Mrs. Wallowitz?
It's this dress! When I put my front in, my back pops out!
Number 10. Freddie Prinze, Chico and the Man.
Oh no, not poor Chico. Oh, this is terrible. Let me take a last look at the remains. Hey, man, I'm all right.
Freddie Prinze Jr. is a well-known film and television actor whose father, Freddie Prinze, was the star of the hit sitcom Chico and the Man, playing Chico.
Come on, flies, let's go.
However, at the age of 22, and only 10 months after his son was born, he put a gun to his head and shot himself in front of his business manager.
And I don't mind being a mechanic. It's an honorable profession. There's never been a Watergate in the field of tire rotation.
Prinze had been dealing with depression for some time, which was worsened by his drug use and by his wife filing for divorce. The show continued for another season after his death, with a 12-year-old character named Raul introduced to fill the void left by Prince's death. Eventually, Chico's passing was addressed in an emotional 2-part episode, and the show left the air after its 4th season.
He made me want to become a comedian, and you know that, and I've told you how much your father meant to me.
Number 9. Cory Monteith, Glee.
Oh. It's beating really hard.
It still feels like yesterday that the world collectively mourned the loss of this young actor, who in 2013 was found dead from a drug overdose in a Vancouver hotel room.
If it were up to me, we wouldn't have mandatory bi-weekly afternoon locker checks.
But I've never seen that before, Mr. Shue, I swear. It's not mine.
Fans not only cried over Cory's death, they cried for his co-star Lea Michele, who was also his real-life girlfriend. Production was delayed for several months until it was agreed that his character Finn Hudson would have to be killed off the show. Though his character's cause of death was never revealed, an episode titled The Quarterback aired as a tribute to him. Finn was constantly remembered throughout the final 2 seasons, including the Glee series finale, in which the school's auditorium was renamed in his honor.
The Finn Hudson Auditorium.
Number 8. Jon Spencer, The West Wing.
Is everything all right?
Yeah.
Jon Spencer had been a series regular on this political drama since its pilot episode. He played Leo McGarry, who starts out as the White House Chief of Staff and ends up eventually running for Vice President.
The Republican Congress's attitude is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It is broke.
However, after Spencer died of a heart attack in 2005, it was written that his character suffered the same fate before he could assume office.
Leo, somebody help me!
The Emmy Award-winning actor was loved and certainly missed by the actors he worked with. Fellow cast member Kristen Chenoweth even sang at his funeral, and series star Martin Sheen read a special tribute at the start of episode 10 in the show's final season.
Johnny, it seems we hardly knew you. We love you, and we miss you.
Number 7. Mary Kay Bergman, South Park.
Someday, Shelley, I'm gonna be bigger than you, and you're gonna wish you'd never done any of this to me.
You'll never be bigger than me, Stan.
Besides the obvious, what do the female characters on this controversial adult animated sitcom have in common?
Not allowing our kids to watch this show is not enough. We need to boycott the entire network.
Well, many were originally voiced by Mary Kay Bergman. Initially, she was credited as Shannon Cassidy in order to avoid causing any problems with her other job as the voice of Snow White for Disney. However, Bergman unfortunately suffered from depression and bipolar disorder.
You saw him, didn't you? You saw my boy!
Things got so bad for her that in 1999, after attending an event celebrating the 45th anniversary of Disneyland, she returned home and shot herself. Other voice actresses were found to replace Bergman's characters, but we'll never forget who gave life to the original Sharon and Shelley Marsh, Mrs. McCormick, Wendy Testaberger, Mrs. Cartman, and Sheila Broflovsky. Number 6. Jon Erik Hexum, Cover Up.
I'm here for my lesson.
There's a lot of downtime for actors on set when they're not filming. Free time is often spent rehearsing or taking much-needed naps, but sometimes there's nothing to do but sit and wait. Unfortunately, young model and actor Jon Erik Hexum found a deadly way to relieve his boredom during a lull in filming.
You don't expect me to walk through a hotel with a rope and a grappling hook, do you? Yeah, good point.
He decided to play around with a gun being used for a scene that contained a blank. Assuming it was harmless, it wasn't. He shot himself in the head with the blank, causing significant brain damage and resulting in his death. Hexum's character was the male lead of the show, so a new character and actor were brought in to replace him. But the series was canceled later in the season.
4,000 black.
Number 5. Nicholas Colasanto, Cheers.
Are you always this funny?
I doubt it.
On Cheers, Colasanto played Coach Ernie Pantuso, a bartender and the former baseball coach of lead character Sam Malone.
Listen, we don't mean to intrude here. Are you girls waiting for your husbands?
No, neither of us is married.
Oh, well, I'll see what I can do about that.
Coach was always around to lend Sam a sympathetic ear and offer some well-meaning, though often addled advice.
Look, when you were a drunk and nobody told you, I told you were a drunk, didn't I? I told you.
Over and over and over again.
Well, you really were a drunk, Sam.
When Colasanto died of a heart attack at age 61, no one wanted to recast Coach. So they decided to send the character off to that great baseball diamond in the sky.
Now, is that an inspirational story or not, huh?
That's when Woody Harrelson joined the cast as the new bartender and Coach's pen pal in the show's 4th season, who arrives in town only to find out that his friend has passed away.
Coach gone, I can't hardly believe it.
Number 4. Andy Whitfield, Spartacus. Whitfield portrayed the title character Spartacus, the badass gladiator, on the show's 1st season.
Did I hurt you, champion?
But when he discovered that he'd been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, production for season 2 came to a halt. Andy was eventually told he was cancer-free, so filming began anew. However, he later found out that his cancer had resurfaced.
Where's your wound? Where's the wound?
In order to be fair to the show, Andy graciously gave them permission to recast his role, and Liam McIntyre took over.
Have you lost mind?
Since Andy Whitfield died the following year in 2011, he was technically no longer involved with Spartacus, but his illness did impact the show, and his absence was felt among his castmates.
Your wound?
It's a scratch. If I suffered worse.
Number 3. Jim Henson, Sesame Street.
Okay, fine. I'll go out and get ready. It'll take me a minute to get ready.
Mr. Hooper's death in 1982 was a sad moment for Sesame Street.
Big Bird, when people die, they don't come back.
But an even bigger blow was saying goodbye to the voice of Kermit the Frog.
Let's hear you sing the alphabet.
A, B, C, D, E, F, to Cookie Monster.
Jim Henson, who was known for creating and bringing to life everyone's favorite amphibian, worked on Sesame Street for 20 years. Henson also came up with and voiced an array of other characters like Ernie.
Bert, that there are 2 of us, you and me. Did you ever think of that? You and me, that makes 2.
In the spring of 1990, he started experiencing flu-like symptoms, but delayed going to a hospital for several days. Ultimately, by the time he did go, it was too late. Henson died from toxic shock syndrome.
Oh, well, listen, I'm good at rhymes. I do a rhyme all the time.
Henson's sudden death inspired many memorable tributes, and while other voice actors took over his characters, Henson's Kermit was unique and has never been forgotten.
A V is for victory and for very confused, and now this is an I, tilted, or it could be the number 1, but whatever it is not what it was a couple of minutes ago.
Number 2, John Ritter, 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter.
My keys, where are my keys? Mom, oh my God. Mom?
You may have known him from the hit 70s sitcom Three's Company. But at the time of his death, he was starring in another funny show.
No.
In 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter, Ritter played an overprotective father of 3 teenagers.
You lost interest in soccer like that.
Yeah, in the 3rd grade, the coach wouldn't let me play.
You were too little. I was afraid to send you in.
Viewers were saddened to hear that Ritter had passed away during surgery for heart complications he suffered while on set. His character Paul in turn died suddenly, and 2 episodes were devoted to the aftermath of his death.
Oh my God. It says hi. Hi, Dad.
The kid's grandpa and cousin CJ were characters brought in to fill the void, but Paul's absence was always felt, and often brought up in future episodes.
I mean, it means I have love all around me. You know what else is awesome? Love. Okay, just stop it, all right?
Before we reveal our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Nobody could roll over you accidentally. Well, not before we get dry.
I suppose I should have just kept my mouth shut, like a mute.
Number 1, Phil Hartman, The Simpsons and News Radio.
I'm your host, Troy McClure. You may remember me from such films as The Erotic Adventures of Hercules and Dial M for Murderousness.
You may remember Phil from such shows as The Simpsons and News Radio.
Mel, this isn't a scheme. We're really sinking.
Right. You got me.
His Bill McNeil on The Ladder was a hilarious portrait of an egomaniac, while his work on The Simpsons is also treasured by fans, as he voiced characters like Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz.
With all due respect, Mrs. Simpson, you're not a doctor. The boy's not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. The only person in this room who even comes close is this man.
Stop! There were even discussions about a live-action film about Troy McClure, but those discussions were ended by the events of the night of May 27th, 1998.
2 creatures.
2 of every creature.
Even stink beetles.
Especially stink beetle.
That's when Hartman's wife shot him in his sleep after an argument, later killing herself as well. His characters on The Simpsons were retired in the wake of his death. Bill McNeil was killed off of News Radio with a heart attack, and Phil Hartman went down in history as one of the comedy greats.
We need to invest in our people again, because together, all of us pulling as a team, we can do it.
Do you agree with our list? Which actor's death hit you the hardest?
Sesame seeds. They only grow in certain microclimates.
For more sentimental top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
How would they know I'm not family unless they do DNA testing?